Hey everybody, it's Kendra. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you've been here before. My video today is going to be showing you how to make energy balls. So I have these beautiful chocolate energy balls, and then I also have some that are kind of like honey flavored, kind of like bee pollen honey flavored. And both of these are jam-packed with really yummy things, superfoods, some really good like little powders I put in them like maca and lucuma. I've got goji berries in them, chia seeds. So these will just do like amazing things for your body. They're perfect for just like a little snack, or if you're following sort of like a paleo or Whole30 kind of lifestyle, these would be perfect for just like a little bit of dessert if you want something just a little bit sweet. They're not super sweet, they're very, very healthy, and really they are quite filling, so a couple, totally that's all you need. Also, I like to store these in the freezer because they'll last a longer time, and frankly, I feel like the texture, it just firms up a little bit in the freezer, but it does not become rock solid. Also, you definitely will want a food processor for this. I've never done this without a food processor, and frankly, I can't imagine doing this in a blender. It's not the same type of chopping action. So if you don't have a food processor, find somebody who does and borrow it. Anyway, let me show you how to do it. Okie schmoky. So these are the ingredients that I'm going to be using for my energy balls today. Now, I'm not going to be using all of these ingredients in each recipe, but you will see later exactly what I do. So the base of my energy balls, I like to use dates. I've got some medjool dates here, and I've pitted them. I also like to use, some almond flour. You could use coconut flour in this. That would be great as well. I've got my big old tub of coconut oil. I like to dump a bit of that in there. I've got some shredded almonds here. These are raw shredded almonds. I like to use, either almonds or pecans or walnuts, any type of nut, cashews. I just like to make sure it's raw. I don't want to have roasted nuts in there. Also have some goji berries. Now, goji is great, full of antioxidants, very good for the immune system, the skin, has lots of vitamins, minerals, anti-inflammatory. Goji is great. Plus, it has like a really unique taste, and it also gives that nice kind of texture. A little hard, but also like nice and chewy. I've also got some raw almond butter back here. And then in this jar, I've got some turmeric. I love turmeric. It blends really well with this. Like, you won't be able to taste too much of a turmeric flavor. You definitely will know it's in there, but turmeric is really good for inflammation, and it's also antibacterial. People need to eat way more turmeric, let me tell you. Also up front here, I've got some pink Himalayan salt. I like to add salt to my energy balls because it does give a nice flavor. Like, the saltiness balances really well with the sweetness from the dates. Trust me, it's lovely. And pink Himalayan salt is my salt of choice because it has more minerals. Also, I've got some shredded unsweetened coconut here. That is lovely, gives a nice little bit of a crunchy texture to it. I also have some raw cacao nibs here and raw organic cacao powder. So obviously these are things I would use in my chocolate energy balls. You could use the cacao nibs in a non-chocolate energy ball, but if you add the cacao powder, it's going to taste like chocolate. Also, I have some vanilla bean powder. You could also use vanilla extract. That would be lovely. And then back here, I've got some hemp seeds, raw hemp seeds. That's really good for protein. This right here is chia seeds. Those are really good for omega-3s, I believe, and also good for digestion. Lots of fiber in those guys. I've got some raw local honey. And then speaking of the bee kingdom, I've also got some bee pollen. So bee pollen is really good for inflammation. It has lots of antioxidants. It's an immune booster. Very, very good. And then finally back here, I've got maca powder, and this one is called lucuma powder. So these are both superfoods. I believe they're both from Peru. Maca powder is really good for boosting energy, and it's also good if you're dealing with infertility issues. I'm not dealing with infertility issues. I just need some energy. And lucuma also has lots of like minerals, vitamins, and minerals. All right, so there we go. Those are our ingredients. Now let's whip up some energy balls. All right, let's make some energy balls. So I've got my food processor here. I will link the food processor down below, but it is a KitchenAid. I think I got it from Kohl's. So I have about 10 dates that I've pitted that I put in first. Now I'm just gonna kind of dump. Sorry, I'm not gonna give you precise measurements. It's gonna be like a couple spoons of this, a couple scoops of that, Just kind of add as you like, but I'm gonna give you kind of a base for it. So I've got some almond butter here. So I'm gonna put in like a big honkin' spoonful of almond butter. Maybe I'll do a tiny bit more. All right, goji berries. I put in probably like 3 tablespoons of goji berries. Next, I've got my turmeric, maybe like half a tablespoon, maybe a little more. I tend to go for the maybe a little more sounds good. So the first ones that I'm making are actually going to be kind of the bee pollen ones, like the honey ones. So I'm going to be skipping the cacao products. I'm going to put in some bee pollen, definitely like a good tablespoon and a half of bee pollen there. Hemp seeds, let's say, probably like 2.5 tablespoons. We're not too fussy over here. Chia seeds, probably like 2 tablespoons. Coconut, this whole thing I'm gonna dump in, so that's probably like 3 tablespoons. Let's put in some almonds. Maybe do like 2 or 3. These will sort of get busted up when you use the food processor. I could just use almond powder for this too because it's already pulverized. Next, I'm going to do some of this vanilla bean powder. So no, I will not be using the tablespoon for that because that's just a bit wild. Maybe like a teaspoon of this. We'll see how vanilla-y that makes it. Also, some pink Himalayan salt. Maybe like not quite a teaspoon there. Next, I'm going to add in my maca and my lucuma. So I'm going to do maybe like a solid 1.5 tablespoons of the maca, maybe a bit more. And then lucuma, maybe like a tablespoon. All right, now some honey. This is probably going to be like, I don't know, a tablespoon or 2. Also, some coconut oil. So I'm going to probably do a pretty solid size scoop, maybe like that big. So that's probably around 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. All right, so I've got everything in, so I'm just going to process this now. So what I like to do after I process it, I like to open it up and see how sticky it is. So it is kind of sticking together, but I want to put some water in it to really make a nice paste. So I'm just going to turn it on, and while it's running, I'm going to add in some water. And then as you can see, it's got this nice of a paste texture. I'm just going to kind of do this, and then I'll blend it one more time just to make sure everything is nice and mixed together. All right, cool. So I've got some nice paste here. So I'm just gonna scoop some of this out and put it in a bowl, and then I'll mix up my chocolate energy ball. All right, so you betcha we are not gonna wash this food processor between batches because basically they're very similar things, except the chocolate one has chocolate. So we're doing the chocolate one now. So I just put in 10 more dates, and I'm gonna put in the same amount of almond butter as last time. All right, again, I'm gonna put in a bunch of turmeric, probably like a tablespoon and a half of this. Cacao nibs. I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm probably gonna use most of these. Let's see, what do we got here? Screw it, that's fine. Got some chia here. This is probably about 2 tablespoons. Just gonna finish that up. Same goes for the hemp. Probably like, another 2 or 3 tablespoons. Dump that right in. Almonds, you could put in some almonds. I'm also gonna put in some almond flour, just because I talked about it in my ingredient section. Almond, just a couple tablespoons. That'll add some protein and also help everything to stick together. All right, coconut. This is probably like 3 tablespoons of unsweetened coconut. All right, now the cacao powder. So I'm going to start with maybe a 1.5 tablespoons, like a heaping tablespoon. You can always add more. So I am going to do this first and then taste it and see if I want more. All right, again, pink Himalayan salt, maybe like a teaspoon of that. And then again, I'm going to use my lucuma powders and maca, probably a tablespoon or so of each. Maybe a little more on the maca end. I need lots of energy in these energy bowls. And then I'll put in some coconut oil. Again, big old scoop of it. Also, I've got some goji here, probably about 3 tablespoons or so. Goji goes really nicely with chocolate. All right, and now same thing with this. I'm just gonna close it up, blend it, and then I'll add a little water to get that nice paste. All right, so you can see it looks a little dry. So this is where I want to add the water. Okay, I just tasted it. It tastes good, but I think it needs more chocolate. So I'm gonna go about another heaping teaspoon, and then, or heaping tablespoon. And then I'm gonna mix this up and also add in a bit more water in a sec. So it seems like when the dough sort of balls up like this in the food processor, that is an awesome, awesome consistency. All right, so same thing. I'm just gonna put this dough into a bowl, and then I'll show you how to finish these guys off. All right, so to finish these off, basically what I wanna do is roll these into balls and put them into this stuff. So this is just kind of a fun little coating. It looks pretty and it adds a little bit of texture. So in this, you know, I've got some chia, I think there's some hemp in here, almonds, goji, I think there's a little bit of cacao in here. So that's it. Basically, you just roll it. Now this dough is kind of sticky, so you're forewarned. And then I just go like so. So I'm using about maybe like a teaspoonful of dough. What do we call this? Energy ball goo. All right, so we do the exact same thing with the chocolate ones. The only difference here in this mixture, I've got some cacao powder. So again, I've got some chia, hemp seeds, raw cacao nibs, coconut, slivered almonds, and some cacao powder. So again, same thing, just roll and dump it. Oh, sweet. These ones are way less sticky than the first ones. All right, so there we go. All of my beautiful finished energy balls. I would say it probably took me like 5 to 8 minutes per batch to just kind of finish rolling everything out and getting them all finished. So there you go. Super, super, super easy. But I would say you need a food processor. I've never done this without a food processor, and really, I don't know how I would do this without a food processor. Anyway, hope you enjoy them. Let me know if you make these or if you've ever made any other types of energy balls in the past. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.